subject of thought is about idols, IDOLS, or idolatry. It's really surprising when you get to thinking about idols. I was watching a commercial. The reason I thought of this, I feel like the Lord blessed me to see that I taught this about a year and a half ago. But I was watching TV, a commercial, and they had a lot of those old type people with spears and shields and all these things, and they got a series going on. I didn't know that. Young lady,
The
I
Vikings?
want yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I don't watch them, but I flipped it. But I watched them, and we think back like about idols, that those kind of people have idolatry in their life, or people in Africa would paint all over them in their hair and all that, and the earrings and all these things about them. And we think about those people having idols. But today, if you think about it, if you watch football at all, and I know Sister Judy and I watch football, Atlanta plays today, Green Bay, you'll be able to look up in the stands and you're going to see paint all over the faces. You're going to see their hair a different color, acting like a bunch of fools. And that's what the Bible teaches, is those kind of idols are foolish. And well, what is an idol?
Something you worship
Something you worship.
above
Can
everything.
anything be an idol? Anything. Statues, we think about statues and figurines and Buddha, those kind of things are idols. But it'll shock you if you really get to examining yourself about idols. The definition of an idol is like James said, it's also an image. You can have an image, can be can a person be an idol to you? The Bible tells us in 1 John 5:21 says, little children, keep yourselves from what? Idols. 1 John 5:21, take a note. 1 John 5:21 is basically what I'm going to keep repeating about. Keep yourselves from idols. And how you going to keep yourself from idols? You got to continue to examine yourself to see if you have an idol in your life. I know I have had and still have a lot of idols. After I've looked into it a little bit, anything can be an idol, and everything can be an idol. But God says, little children, keep yourself from these idols. I mentioned about, can a person be an idol? You think about your grandchildren. Most of us have grandchildren or children. And they can be, you can idolize your children. What I mean by that is, a child, just like my son, when I played football, and I didn't do this, I'd never encouraged Jake to do this, and when I played football, and then when Jake come along, guess what I wanted him to do? Play football. I wanted him to be a best football player that could ever be, because I didn't make it to the pros, and that's your ultimate goal in sports, is to go higher up in college and all the way through to the pros. And there's a minute amount of people that ever make it to the pros. Greston, my grandson, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but he loves basketball. He's been to the college out here 2 years in a row to training for college, and he's pretty good at college, basketball. And I asked him, I said, son, what you want to be when you get older? You are 14 years old now. He said, I want to play professional football. That was his goal. That was his life. Huh? Basketball. That was his goal. What did I say? Well, football we too. He played football too. But anyway, he probably will never make a profession. But then again, he could, Lord willing. But as a whole, we can idolize our children or a person. Clint Eastwood, a movie star. People actually idolize movie stars. They want to be just like so-and-so, Marilyn Monroe, Clint Eastwood, or the Beatles, the singers back in the 60s. Those are idols that 1 John 5:21 says what? Keep yourself from these idols. And that's what we need. So a people or a person can be an idol and worship a man or whatever. Turn to Romans chapter 1. Brother David, if you would, read 18 through 25. And I want to note what this 25th verse says pretty close. In Romans chapter 1, 18. I want you to think about where is God in all this, in this verse.
I just lost everything.
Oh, you did? Storm got you.
No, there was something came up and I tried to get rid of it and I
What
cleared the
item
whole
was it?
page. Just a second.
Romans 1, 18 through 25. Remember that verse that says, little children, keep yourselves from these idols.
Romans 1, 18 through 25.
Mhm.
For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in righteousness. Because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God hath showed it unto them. For the visible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into the image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Wherefore God gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen.
They worship the creature. Who is the creature? Man. Prior to that, it said the four-footed beast and so forth, and the image of a man. They were worshiping a creature. And did they know the truth? It clearly says they knew the truth, but they didn't. They wouldn't carry it out. How many times is that going on now in the churches? We worship men or whatever, idols or what, some kind of sort of idol, and not worshiping God. We're worshiping creatures and his things that he has. So we got to be careful. Little children, keep yourselves from idols. A few years ago, there used to be what they call tree huggers. You remember that? Now, I have to fall in a little bit into that because I told you in here before when I taught that when I come out of the Navy and see nothing but water for day after day after day and sky and that water and sky, that's all I saw. When I seen these South Georgia trees, I wanted to hug one of them. I mean, I was tickled to death. Not in a way that I would want to worship them. What I'm saying is I was happy to be home. I was happy to be back in South Georgia. But years ago, some of y'all may remember the deer hunters would go out and these animal rights people would try to stop the deer hunting. And the way they would do it, they'd hug a tree and just hang on to it, and they'd take pots and pans and beat them together. How many deer are you going to kill when that's going on, Brother David?
Not going to see him.
You're not going to see a deer inside. Well, they were tree huggers. They worshiped trees. And just as we can worship a man, we can actually worship a tree. Turn to Jeremiah chapter 10. Y'all know where I'm going. Jeremiah chapter 10. Brother Berger, read the first 10 verses. We got a lot of lengthy readings this morning, but I hope to get over the point that little children, we need to keep ourselves from idols or idolatry. Yeah, read real loud, chapter 10, 1 through 10, brother. And think about this tree here. We can learn from our mistakes. What was written aforetime, the Bible says, was written for our what? Learning. We can learn from this chapter 10 if and not have idols in our lives like they did. All right, Brother Ruger, read
1 through what?
10.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. They are upright as a palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them that do you good. For as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. Who would not fear thee, O King of nations? For to thee doth it appear, for as much as among all the wise men of the nations, and in all their kingdoms, there is none like unto thee. For they are altogether brutish and foolish, stockies and doctrine of vanity. Silver spread into place is bought from Forsyth, and gold from Forsyth, the work of the workman, and of the hand of the founder. Blue and purple is their clothing. They are all the work of cunning men. But the Lord is the true God. He is the living God, and an everlasting King. At his wrath the earth shall tremble, and the nation shall not be able to abide his indignation.
All right. You see this tree? What did they do? They cut it out of the forest with the axe. They couldn't talk. They couldn't listen. Couldn't hear. It was worthless. They cut it, put it on boards, on a cross, digged it with silver and gold, and started worshiping that tree. We can worship trees if we ain't careful. You see what I'm saying? The Bible says he was talking to Israel at this time, and he said he called them heathens. What's a heathen?
Heathen is opposite of a Christian or a godly man.
Antichrist or whatever, I guess. I don't know. I know the heathens. Sometimes I'm a heathen. I don't do exactly the way I should. And I have idolatries, and I have idols in my life. And we're to keep from those idols. So now we see that man can be an idol, trees can be an idol, or so forth. What about an animal? Can an animal, do people worship animals?
People in India worship cows.
Cows. Pure old cows. They would starve to death before they would eat one of those cows. Now, is that an idol? Absolutely. So animals can be an idol in our lives. My sister, bless her heart, she's got a dog that stays in the house, one of them old poodle-looking dogs. They don't call him poodle. They call him something else. He got a fancy name that long. Anyway, they got papers on him, and she idolizes that dog. She got down sick one day, and she called him baby, and she swore that the baby went and called 911. How foolish is that? She worships that dog. And it's good to have a dog. There's nothing wrong with a dog. But don't idolize a dog. Or any kind of animal. Like James says in Buddha, is it Buddha? They would worship the cow. And I got thinking about how in the world could we idolize some kind of animal? Moses didn't he? You remember when Moses, turn to Exodus 32. We won't read that. I'll just paraphrase what's going on here. In Exodus 32, it's teaching about that Moses was up on the mount getting the tablets. And God was writing the tablets. And he come down out of the mountain, and his brother, was it brother or half-brother Aaron? Brother, wasn't it? Anyway, Aaron was down there, and they was singing and dancing and hooping and hollering and carrying on. And as he got closer, he saw that they had built what? A golden calf. A golden calf now, an animal that was to represent their God. You got a phone call. Oh, what? Something. Anyway, a golden calf can be an idol. And it was an idol. They tore off their earrings. Do people have earrings today that shouldn't have earrings?
Yeah, well,
That's
sure
their
they-
own thing, I reckon. But it ain't mine. But they took them golden earrings and put them in a fire and made an idol out of that. They made a golden calf. So keep yourselves from idols. We need to do that. It's easy to fall into, once Moses was gone, Aaron got, I'd say a little nervous because the people were getting a little bit uptight. And he said, well, let's just make a calf. And they did. And as Moses come down, he broke the tablets, went back up, he come back down. He tore their idol up and they burned it, to my understanding. And I think he made them drink some of it. Y'all remember that? My mind's right. I didn't read all of it, but some reason or another, I may be wrong, but I think he made them drink some of that golden calf that he had melted down. But nevertheless, the main point is keep yourselves from idolatry or idols. Men can be worshipped as idols. Animals can be. Trees can be. You see how easy it is? Anything, grandchildren, children, so forth and so on. Paul, over in Acts chapter 17, verses 22 and 23. Janice, will you read Acts 17, 22 and 23? Here again, there was an unknown God. Now that unknown God was who? But who do you think the unknown God is in this chapter?
God.
Jesus or God. All right, keep that in mind now. When Jesus came to his people, he came into his own, and his own received him not, did it? Okay, and Israel was finally blinded because of unbelief and not knowing what they should do. All right, read Acts 17, 22 and 23 then.
Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious. For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, To the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship him, declare I unto you.
They what? They ignorantly worship. Okay? Keep going.
God that hath made the world and all the things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands, neither is worship with men's hands, as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and bread and all things.
All right, stop right there. They ignorantly, can God's people be ignorant? Hosea 4:6, I believe it is, says, My people are destroyed for
Lack of knowledge.
lack of knowledge. Over in Romans chapter 10, we know the scripture real well, when Paul says, Brethren, he's talking to God's people, in 10:1. He says, Brethren, my heart desire and prayer for Israel is that they might be saved. For I bear them a record, they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. They ain't got knowledge, what they got? Ignorant. Next verse, he says, well, they being ignorant, who is they? Israel. If Israel being ignorant, they being ignorant, and establish their own righteousness. Can we do that? Yes. And my people were destroyed for lack of knowledge. So there was idolatry there, and they did not even see through the eye of faith because of their ignorance. They refused to do what God said, and they did not know the unknown God, which was Jesus or God himself. You follow that? And later, like I said, they were blinded. Let me give you a trick question. I like trick questions. They used to love to try them out. Can an idol keep you from heaven? That's a trick question.
According to which heaven you're talking about.
Well, you blew it, Jane, you couldn't cover it. No, she's right. There's the kingdom of heaven or the kingdom of God. If you don't do what's right, you serve idols, you're not gonna be in the kingdom of heaven, right?
Amen.
That's, if you keep yourself from these idols, then, and you do work and obey and all these things, then you'll enter the kingdom. Now, eternally, forget it. Nothing you do is gonna matter. You're not gonna go to eternal heaven by what you do. It's by grace and grace alone. But the trick question was, can you go to heaven? Can things keep us from heaven? Well, back up to Galatians chapter 5, or go forward to Galatians 5. You ain't got to read it, I'll read it for you. This is what tells you, if you have an idol in your life, you're not going to go to the heaven we're talking about, which is the kingdom of heaven. In Galatians 5:19 through 21, it says, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, you hear that? Witchcraft, hatred, if you hate somebody, variance, humiliation, wrath, strife, sedition, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness. You see, even these drunkards or murderers came up. Reviling and such like, as which I've told you before, and I've told you in the time past, they which do such things shall not inherit what? The kingdom of God. Was idols one of those things? Yes. If you got an idol, guess what? You're not going into the kingdom. So we need to be careful, examine ourselves. Some people just refused to worship idols. Daniel chapter 3 verse 18, I got very long. He says in verse 18, you remember what happened to Daniel, that they had another god. I believe it was 45 foot, if my thinking is right. Anyway, it was a big statue. Nebuchadnezzar was the king at this point. He had a big statue built, and they told him that, he says, but if, in 18, but if not to thee, O king, we will not serve thy God, the golden image which thou hast set up. Were they faithful to God? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was faithful to God. And it's a good example of somebody keeping themselves from idols. Nebuchadnezzar had that big 40-foot idol, and he said, we're going to play music, we're going to sing, we're going to dance, and all these things. And they said, we will not fall down and worship. And they eventually was thrown into the fire 7 times hotter, and looked in there, and Jesus was right there with them. Why was Jesus in that fire? Because they had obeyed and refused to worship idols. Little children, keep yourselves from idols. And 1 Samuel 15:23, it says, for rebellion is a sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness, iniquity, and idolatry, because they have rejected the word, and also rejected thee from being king. Little children, keep yourself from idols. Turn to Psalms 115. Start with verse 2. I want you to think about these idols. Sometimes we worship things that, if you really get to examining the idols that we're worshiping, you will see how foolish they are. Brother Philip, when he prays, a lot of times he mentions God having these things, but in Psalms 115, 2 through there, it's telling us that idols cannot do anything. Listen to it. Read it.
His seed shall be mighty upon the earth. The generation of the upright shall be blessed. Wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness endureth forever. Unto the upright there arises light in his darkness. He is gracious and full of compassion and righteousness. A good man showeth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion. Surely he shall not be moved forever. Righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. his heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he sees his desire.
Excuse me, is it 115?
You said 115, but that's not
Oh, I'm
115.
No, 115, Psalms 115, brother. Huh?
Okay.
Let me just read, I got it right here. 115, I think you won all, I might have made a mistake, told you the wrong one. Says, wherefore should the heathen, we don't need about heathen, say, where is now their God? But our God is in the heavens, and hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Their idols are silver and gold, and the work of men's hands. They have mouths, listen to it now, they have mouths, these heathens have mouths, these idols. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes, they should not see. They have ears, they not hear. Noses, they cannot smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet, but they walk not, neither speak. You get the picture. These things can't do nothing. Can't talk, can't walk, can't hear, can't smell, can't do anything. Brother Philip, when he prays, a lot of times he says, thank you, Lord, for what? The mouth, the hands, the eyes. A lot of times he mentions that, but it's not talking about this idol. That these idols can't speak, can't talk. Well, what good are they? They're no good, are they? It's foolish to have them. Read Brother Virgil, 96 verse 4. Psalms 96. Well, I believe it's 96 verse 4. There.
For the Lord is great, and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods.
All right, one more.
For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heaven.
All right. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. And he is to be feared of all gods. In other words, every knee will bow, and every tongue will confess that Jesus is the Christ. For he is great and greatly to be praised, to be feared of all gods. For all the gods of the nation are idols, but the Lord made the heaven. So let's read one more real quick. In Isaiah 44 verse 8, James, Isaiah. I want you to think about now. Isaiah chapter 44, start with verse 8.
Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have not I told thee from that time, and have declared it? Ye are even my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? Yea, there is no God, I know not any. They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. And they are their own witnesses. They see not nor know, that they may be ashamed.
All right. You see what he's saying in this verse? Janice, how about closing out with that verse I told you to read? First Thessalonians. There's a lot of other scripture we go to, but I think this is one of the best ones to close with. Unless we've been talking about idols, and we need to keep ourselves from idolatry or idols. And 1 Thessalonians 1 verse 9, I believe I told you, wasn't it?
Yeah. For they themselves show of us what manner of entering in we had unto you, and how we turned to God from idols to serve the living and true God, and to wait for his Son from heaven, whom he raised from the dead, even Jesus, which delivered us from the wrath to come.
All right, that verse, and that ninth verse says, turn yourselves to God. We need to do away with idolatry and just turn back to God and serve the one true and living God and examine ourselves. Little children, keep yourselves from idols. Anybody got anything? David, you just